Hello guys, and welcome to the first bonus episode of Crusader Kings II, the Old Gods, playing as Norway. What these bonus episodes are going to be all about is that they are going to be all about sort of what happened after the Let's Play sort of officially ended. The reason why I keep playing after the Let's Play has ended is because I'm planning to convert the save game from Crusader Kings into Europa Universalis 4, which you can do by using the save game converter that you get from pre-ordering Europa Universalis 4, which I am of course going to do. So basically what I've done over the last couple of days, I've basically played from the point where the Let's Play ended up to 1444, which is the starting point of Europa Universalis 4, if I have done my research correctly. I basically recorded some small clips here and there of the things that I found sort of interesting and that I thought that you guys might be interested in seeing as well. One last thing I kind of want to mention though, before I get into the actual video, is that I know that you don't actually have to play the Crusader Kings II game all the way up until the starting point of Europa Universalis 4, but I kind of just felt like doing it anyways in order for the transformation, I don't know what you want to call it, from Crusader Kings until Europa Universalis to be sort of as legit as possible. So that's really my reasoning behind that. So yeah, let's just get into the video. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the first clip in my little montage, if you want, of different clips from the previous days of playing this game, and more accurately, this campaign. So in the beginning here, you can just see me fighting some of the vassals of the Frankish Empire, which is because I wanted to conquer some more land. Although this is something that you will. This is not something you will see happen a lot throughout this campaign, that I actually go to war in order to conquer more land, because after a while I started understanding that if I kept conquering, I would become so powerful that no other nation in the world could challenge me, and I thought that that would be a little boring for a Europa Universalis 4 campaign, so I decided to just stop conquering. But that didn't actually stop my nation from expanding. I did expand quite a bit, but that was actually pretty much purely because of my vassals, really. They were the ones doing the expansion for me. And it actually got to a point where it got pretty annoying, because I didn't really want to expand anymore. So the game, yeah. But I mean, if you're worried that this sort of a little montage of mine is going to become kind of boring, don't worry, because there's going to be, I mean, I do quite a lot of interesting stuff, and I also show off a lot of the other things in the world that is happening that I find kind of fascinating, interesting, and so on. So that's something. But I do declare quite a bit of wars, but most of them are pretty much just to sort of create interesting scenarios and that kind of stuff, and not really for actual conquering more land, although there's a couple of them here and there, but they are mostly just to clean up borders and that kind of stuff. Okay, so the next clip here is just me showing off the fact that you can see that Wales and England is slowly but surely starting to become de jure parts of the Kingdom of Norway, which is kind of interesting, kind of cool. It's one of the effects that you get when you don't actually create an empire. And here you can see the fact that my vassals have begun what I was talking about, the fact that they have begun expanding into my neighbors, Sweden in this case. So that's kind of interesting. It of course has some side effects with the fact that some of my vassals will get very, very strong after a while because they conquer so much land. Here you can see that the process have gone even further, and only 2 counties in Sweden are now independent, although the King of Sweden still exists over in Finland, but yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, this is just once again me showing off fact that the jure kingdoms and all that, and for some reason I decided to record me fighting this rebellion, so that's something. It's also another thing I kind of feel that is worth notice or saying or whatever. It's the fact that some of these clips might be in the wrong order or something. Sometimes there might be a black screen, or sometimes I cannot promise that everything will be perfect, because making these sort of videos takes a long time because there's so much stuff that needs to be edited. And there's just me showing off once again the Swiss banned Trade Republic, which is kind of hilarious, although I think I already did that in my actual Let's Play though, so that's no problem. And yeah, one other thing, there will be no actual game audio in this video, although most likely my plan anyways is to take some of the music from the game files of Crusader Kings and just put them in this video to sort of give you guys some music anyway, so you don't just have to hear my voice, and just to make things a little bit more nice. So I hope you guys like that. So here's me just showing off the fact that at this point I believe that my moral authority is 100 and that I control all the holy sites. Of course, there might be some things that I might say a little wrong here, because I'm viewing this in Sony Vegas, the preview screen, and the resolution isn't very good, so I can't really see perfectly, you know, the small texts and that kind of stuff. But I can see the sort of the grand picture, and I do remember a lot of stuff. And this is pretty much just me showing off the Byzantine Empire, which have done a lot of conquests. Here am I showing off the Vikings, which have declared themselves, which have become landed. They have gained themselves some actual territory. That's pretty cool. And yeah, here's once again just me showing off the whole de jure kingdom stuff. You can see the majority of England is now conquered, and all of Wales is a part of de jure Norway. And yeah, here I'm just showing off that now every territory is a part of de jure Norway. So I could, strictly speaking, give away the old land now and then just rule in Britain. Although I can't really do that because it's impossible to give independence to people who are de jure part of your kingdom. And there's just me showing off the fact that the Pope won a crusade against me. Although I pretty much just surrendered to him at day one. Because I was not interested in fighting it, and I didn't really want those territories anyways. You can also note that down in the Crimean area, you can see that I have gained some territories, which is once again my vassals' work that they have done here. Here's just me showing off more de jure drift, or more territories are becoming de jure parts of Norway, as well as the culture is changing. You can see more and more territories are becoming the Norse culture, which is kind of interesting. When it comes to culture though, it's also pretty cool to see how the Russian culture is also really expanding. You can see a lot of the Finnish territories and that kind of stuff are converting to Russian, as well as like the Lithuanian and stuff. Here's just me showing off the fact that some random holy order of Christianity has gained some land down in the, well, Holy Land. This is just me showing off a civil war. I decided to at least show one of them. I mean, I did fight quite a bit of civil wars after I stopped the Let's Play, although it sort of became less and less, you know, after time sort of passed, simply because I was able to. I started focusing my characters purely on having good diplomacy in order to make the vassals like me more. And here I guess I'm just once again showing off the Byzantines, although more accurately I'm showing off the fact that the Byzantines decided to convert to Catholicism, which is kind of hilarious. But also the Orthodox faith is not completely dead, because the Ruthenians decided to convert to Orthodoxy, which you can see on the map here. The Byzantine Empire is Catholic, while which is kind of historic, not the Byzantine Empire part, but the fact that the Russians converted to Orthodox Christianity. It's pretty historic, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, God knows what I'm showing off here. Yeah, here we go. The fact that the Teutonic Order has gained some land, although that is going to be very short-lived. Trust me, one of my vassals are just going to conquer that guy. Yeah, my vassals are really were really aggressive in this game. Although they never conquered the Vikings though. Here I got a little message on the fact that the Khan of Khans has come around, or he's soon to come around, and that more accurately, that is the Ilkhanate. That is soon going to appear over in Persia somewhere. That's pretty interesting. It's not like in my campaign. In standard Crusader Kings, the Mongols arrive sort of in 3 waves. First the Ilkhanate comes, then the Golden Horde comes, and then the Timurid comes, and they all sort of come as different independent factions, which is both historical and unhistorical depending on how you look at it. I mean, regardless, both the different 2 scenarios are both kind of unhistoric, so it's really not, yeah, you really can't, I don't feel like neither of them are perfect in any way. But anyways, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, it is what it is, so just gonna have to live with that. So yeah. Okay, here I guess I'm just showing off a little bit more of my kingdom here. You can see that more and more land is becoming Norwegian. Here I'm just showing off the fact that the Swiss band is French, and not only are the ruler French, but the actual province of Venice have become French, which is quite interesting if you would ask me. You can also see that the Greek culture is spreading all over the place. It's actually just going to continue to spread, but that's not the only one. You can see like the Egyptian culture as well. It's really just spreading all over the place at this point. Same with the Frankish culture. We can't see it perfectly here though, but it is happening. So it seems like that's sort of been the thing in this game. Like big empires and their cultures are sort of one of the main things in this campaign. You can also see how the British Isles are becoming more and more Norse, and it's closing in on becoming totally Norse basically. So So that's something. One other thing I just want to quickly mention is the fact that I could have made only one bonus episode, but making this episode takes quite a while because I have to commentate over it and I have to put all the clips in the right order. I have to disable resample, blah, blah, blah. A lot of bullshit that I have to do. So that's kind of why I decided to split it up into 3 to sort of make things a little bit easier for me. Here I'm just showing off the fact that the Frankish Empire is no longer controlled by the Carlings. A new dynasty have taken power, and if I remember correctly, there will never again be a Carling on the throne of Francia. So that's something. And here we go, the Golden Horde now arrives. We saw earlier how the Ilkhanate came along, but now the Golden Horde is also around. And this is going to be quite an important event in the history of this game, because it's really going to change the political landscape of the world. For example, you see currently the Kingdom of Ruthenia, one of the most powerful kingdoms in the world at the moment, the big Russian kingdom. You just wait and see what's going to happen to it once the Golden Hordes realizes that they can quite easily invade them and crush them. That's going to be quite cool to see. Here they are, they have arrived in the Kingdom of Perm, and they quickly conquered that, majority of it anyways. Or not actually the majority, a decent chunk of it. They also have to take in some more land and that kind of stuff, but the real change is sort of going to pop up very soon. And I'm just showing off sort of the Mongol culture and the fact that that's happening and stuff. So here we go. There we go. Now you can see that the Golden Horde is really starting to expand quite aggressively. And at this point I was starting to get a little bit scared because I realized that the Mongols were actually heading towards my territories. And because I didn't really know when they were going to stop. Because usually they stop at some point whenever their empire becomes so big that it becomes really difficult to control it all, basically. So that's something. Here's just me showing off my little... I guess you can call it a little colony over in Crimea. Although I will actually, spoiler alert, get rid of that after a while because I felt like it was a little weird. Here you can see kind of something kind of funny is the fact that Italy took control over Andalusia, and because they won a crusade against them. And you can kind of see that Andalusia is quite a lot bigger in this game than it is in whenever the game starts out. But that has to do with the fact that a bunch of Mauritania became de jure a part of Andalusia. So now you know that. Once again, taking a look at culture, especially the Frankish culture, which has like blobbed a bunch of those cultures. You can also see down over in Hungary that a bunch of the cultures over there has become Frankish. It's kind of funny. Here me just showing off the fact, yeah, I believe my character is homosexual, and that was kind of just what I wanted to show off because I thought that was kind of hilarious. I've never actually played as one of them, but this is kind of interesting though. You can see how there are no longer any Muslims in Spain, or no Muslim rulers anyways. And that's gonna have quite the impact on the history of the world. Yeah, this is just kind of what I meant with my character being homosexual and all that. It's actually this kind of funny event here where I believe there are like two people doing something that a normal man at this point in time would have sort of looked down upon. But since you're gay, you're like, no, it's fine, just go on. Everybody can do what they want. That's kind of funny. But here you can see what I was talking about earlier, the fact that the Mongol, or the Golden Horde more accurately, is getting quite dangerously big, and I am at this point starting to get quite scared. And I realized that nobody's going to do anything unless I do it, or because, you know, I'm pretty much the only one strong enough. And here you can pretty much just see me assassinating the Mongol Khan, or Khagan, for the simple reason that I felt like I desperately tried to cause some instability in the realm, just to try and make the Golden Horde break up. Although I eventually ended up learning that that didn't really happen. So instead, I just have to invade them myself, although that's coming later. Here we can just see a quick message, the fact that the Ilkhanate has decided to become Muslim. Sunni Muslim, if I'm not completely mistaken. That's pretty interesting. You can see on the religious map, you can see that the Shia faith has pretty much kicked the ass of the Sunnis. That's pretty interesting. So the Ilkhanate is going to have a hard time trying to bring the Sunni faith back. That's pretty interesting. And here we are once again, looking over the glorious Golden Horde. New ruler has taken the throne, and I thought that this would be a great point. Yeah, I think I assassinated his dad. Maybe I did, maybe I did. I perfectly don't remember, and I can't see it. The resolution is too bad. Point is that I decided to go for a great holy war against the Golden Horde, which I can do pretty much because I am the Fylkir, or religious leader of the Norse faith. Although there are pretty much only... I am pretty much the only real Norse nation at this point, though, so, yeah. Although I mentioned earlier that at this point I didn't really do any any more conquest in order to gain more territory, as because, you know, I didn't want to become too powerful and all that. That this little war here might confuse you a little bit as a result of that. But so basically what I decided to do was that I came up with the plan that I would conquer the territory and then I would give it away to a family member. Of course, that would, you know, create some dangerous, create a very big and dangerous kingdom with a claim on mine. But I was still confident that I would be able to defeat him if he, if the guy I put on the throne would go against me. And this is just me showing off some combat, or soon-to-be combat, against the Mongols. And by the way, sorry if you're noticing some sort of lag spikes and whatever. And that's because of the fact that sometimes that kind of happens whenever I'm recording. Yeah, whenever I click the record button, it takes a little while before it stabilizes or whatever. Normally that's not a problem though. Here I'm just showing off a very big battle against the Mongols. It's going to be quite a lot of those in the time ahead, because the Mongols just keep invading, you know. Because even though I might be able to defeat the Golden Horde, the Timurids will come around, and, you know, but we'll talk about that later when that actually becomes a thing of concern. So yeah, yeah, this is just me fighting the Golden Horde as always. Don't worry though, I won't record as much of my wars later on, so that you don't have to watch this much. And yeah, once again, just me fighting the Golden Horde, huge battles and that kind of stuff. This war actually took quite a while. It was quite the war, because at this point, because I mean, this was the Golden Horde at this point was pretty much the only nation that could truly challenge my power in the world. Of course, the French, or the Frankians, whatever you want to call them, were quite powerful, but still, my kingdom at this point were actually quite amazingly strong. It's actually quite interesting. So I was actually at this point in time capable of not easily defeating the French, but quite easily. So yeah. Here's just more clips of me fighting the Mongols. I don't know why I recorded so much. I guess I'm also here just noting the fact that there's becoming some dangerous factions in my empire at this point in the war. And that was quite worrying for me, because while the war was going in my favor, if you know, at this point I didn't really know if like what would happen if my empire, or if my kingdoms would start like fragmenting into different kingdoms. At this point in time, I was kind of expecting that to be quite bad, and that was exactly what ended up happening. Although it wasn't really that big of a revolt. Yeah, it was quite easy to defeat. Okay, so there we go. That is pretty much all the gameplay that I'm going to show you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I hope you look forward to the next bonus episode, if you want, of my Let's Play here, where I will show off basically what happened after this point. So I believe that I have one more episode or 2 more episodes. That all depends on how long these things takes and so on. So anyways, yeah. So thank you so much for watching this episode of or this bonus episode of Crusader Kings II: The Old Gods Norwegian campaign. And until next time, bye.